So inviting Honorable Mr Kishor Patil sir to boost the minds of enchanting graduates and students of RIT. Please sir.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Honorable Rajaramnagar Patil, Shri Samant, Kudkare Madam, other members of the Governing Council, other dignitaries, staff, students, and the special people, you are really special today, who are graduating today, and their proud parents. It's really pleasure for me to be here, and the pleasure is for multiple reasons. The first pleasure, after a long time I came back to where I belong and for this event. The second, I was really impressed to see really the overall RIT campus infrastructure. I was not expecting, frankly. It's a wonderfully built institution, and when I really, there is something special about the educational institution, and you should know this. Very, very important. All of us go through these institutions, and we don't understand the basic, some fundamentals of this. If you look at the world, what has survived over 200 or 300 years? There are very few things have survived over 200-300 years in the world. There are very few companies, actually I don't know any company which has survived more than 200 years. General Electric has survived over 100-150 years. There are no other company I know, but there are many universities who have survived 300-400 years, like Oxford University, Cambridge University, Harvard University. So there are universities which have survived for a long, long time. So I always have this really curiosity and respect for this institution. And I was very impressed to see, how this institution has come along. And that's why it's a very special day for me. The third reason why it's a special day for me is this is the first time I'm coming for a convocation ceremony, and I'm personally wearing what I'm wearing. I guess you're also doing it for the first time. You're all looking very special today, and this is a very special day for you. So I really think this is a very special day because you are entering into your new phase of life, and I cannot resist referring to one book. If you get an opportunity, you should read this. There is this book called The Last Lecture from Randy Pausch. I don't know whether you have read it, some of you. The concept of this book was very simple. In Carnegie Mellon University, they used to have this concept called last lecture. So it is as if this is the last lecture you are giving to your student. Okay. There is not going to be any other lecture you are going to give. So what will you tell student? And this is what this Professor Randy Pausch was invited to do, and he did not know that time, but it was going to be his last lecture because he was diagnosed of cancer, serious advanced phase. And then he realized that was really his last lecture, and he put together his thoughts, which are really very simple language, very simple thing, but he thought that what is the legacy, what is the message he will leave with the student. This was very, very, I really enjoyed. If you get an opportunity, I think you should do that. So coming back, I think this is a very, very important day because you are entering into a new phase of your life. And this is the first step in that. Please don't think that this is now that you have got your education done. I'm sure some of you are thinking about masters, you're some of thinking about doctorate, etc. more, and some other education. But this is a very, very important stage. I was just reading yesterday under 19 World Cup, our team won. So what they were told was the same thing. This is the first stage, first step for you. And I would say the same thing, because really education is becoming a very, very continuous process. And the technologies, the fields in which you are working are changing so fast, that the biggest issue we are facing in, for example, in the IT world or a technology world is obsolescence. Most of the people who are around 45, 50, who have 20-25 years of experience, they are not technically as capable as the young people are. So I think it is very, very important that the continuous upgradation of skill is very, very important. The second important part is the experience, right? The first job is very important for you. I'm sure you have made your choices already. But I must tell you that your learning continues in your job as well while you are getting into as a professional. The training you get, actually, how do you really put it in place is very, very important. And that's why it is very important to take different type of experience, different type of having a rotation, take different kind of jobs within the company. I'm not saying of changing the jobs, but different type of experience that really enriches you. So it's very, very important to do that. The third thing I would say is the value of humility. I would say that it is very, very important. And I was talking to one of the really very known management consultant in India, and we were talking about why some families create leaders generation after generation. So you know that this family had a person who led his business to the next level. But there are many companies where the second generation is not good enough. And then he told me one simple thing about one of the top business houses in India. He said that there are people who are basically people who come out of that family, they have to go through all the roles from the shop floor to they have to go. But more importantly, they have to respect every senior person during that phase, but otherwise also outside the job also. And I think it is a mindset. If you are you are humble, then you learn. If you are not a humble, I think your ability to grasp knowledge goes down. So I think these are some of the very important part. One student, you are a life student. I have to tell you that in our company, everybody has to go through training every day. And every time when we think about, and I think the next 10 years are so exciting for me because I have so much to learn and I have so much to do for the next 10 years. So this student mindset is not for one time, but it has to carry throughout the life. So that keeps you more relevant and more exciting. Let me come to the world of opportunity. So you are going into a most exciting world. India was called as a third country, right? And now it is going to be one of the top 3 economies in the world. That's the difference it is happening. I mean, the kind of opportunity you will have is any part of the life is so much. Where it is not about industry. In every part of the life it is there. But what is more important is the pace of change. So, to get into a top 100 companies in the world, it used to take people 50 years, 100 years, like that. But last 20 years, last 10 years, there are many companies who have become top 50 company in 5 years, right? I mean, you all know about the other, but Amazon's, Facebook, they came into the top 100 companies, top 50 companies, not top 20 companies in less than 5 years. So what people had taken generations after generations, that is really getting challenged by this new economy. One example I will tell you is if you look at 20th century and 21st century at the beginning, and you look at the top 10 companies, there is only one company which is common, which is General Electric. All the 9 companies are either not there or they have diminished. So the pace of change is so drastic. So from that perspective, this kind of disruptions are very, very useful because they create a lot of opportunities. The other opportunity which is created is because of what you call the India specific opportunities, which is what you call bottom of pyramid. What has happened is India has a population which is young, which is very good. They want to really go out there, they want to spend, and that has created opportunity. But there are also people who are not as much economically strong but have the same inspiration. So one of the example why Nano did not become a success, just to very quickly get to example, because the people had this aspiration of owning a car, right? As soon as it was positioned as a very low cost car, as an alternative to like a rickshaw, right? People did not have that aspiration value. So Indians are very hungry. They are the new Americans. They want everything. And they want it at a cost which is affordable to everybody in the country. So that is the real opportunity for innovate and come out with the products. If I had to compare this with US, the US model, why US grew so much? The US model of economics was very simple. Get the best talent in the world. They get the best talent in the world to the best of the universities. Give them quickly immigration. Create venture capital funds. Create, funding facilities. Create other amenities. And so people created jobs. And who were these people? These were Indians, these were Chinese, right? These were the people. So I think India is there, absolutely India is there, where absolutely one of the most talented people are here. Now we have the same ecosystem as it was in US, and the market is huge. So I personally is very, very convinced that India is going to create a very big opportunity for all of you. I must say that you are so lucky that if you had to born into an era, I think this is the best era. Because I do believe that in next 20 years, India will become top 3 economies very soon, but it will really dominate as an economy. So I think this is really the opportunity where you can make your careers. Just one sentence there from Jack Ma of Alibaba. He says that you have to watch for 30s. So he says that Jack Ma, right, you all know Alibaba is a very big company challenging Google. So what they are saying is, I'm very afraid of 30 people. What is that 30? People whose age is less than 30. People, I'm very fearful about next 30 years, where every time there is a disruption, something is going to change every year. And he's very fearful of the companies who have less than 30 people as employees. Because these are the people who are going to challenge. Because Alibaba, Google, these were this kind of companies who came out and challenged. So that's why I feel the opportunity world for you is so big. What is important in this world is a focus and passion. The world is changing very fast, so you have to have a dream, a big dream. If you fail sometimes, as Jayantraoji said, you sometimes the time is not good, you will come back. You will have success, you will have failure. Success will teach you something, but failures teach you much more. In my view, you learn quite a bit in failure as long as you don't repeat it. The second is you build the best of your relationships in failures than in success. That's the part of your life. So it will happen, but you have to have a big dream. If you have, whatever the big dream is, and I think that will lead you to a different journey. And this is the time for you to journey, for you to dream. I mean, when I was of your age, I mean, I'm not as big as Jayantraoji mentioned, but I had a dream, and I don't think I had any fears. I had more constraint than opportunity, and I'm sure that is the case. You don't see any constraint at this age. You don't have any problems. You see you see everything in a very positive way, and I think this is the time for you to dream. This is the time for you to commit. There may be failures or success, But if you dream big, I think you will become successful if you remain committed to the goal. And I just want to give you some view about this focus and passion. We at KPIT, we decided that we took automotive as a segment, and this will tell you how things are changing. In automotive, so many things are changing. Like we are working with some of the best companies in the world, like BMWs, etc., to build an autonomous vehicle. And right now, can you imagine, there is no autonomous vehicle in India, for example, right? There are no autonomous vehicle outside. But in next 5 years, you will see vehicles coming on the road which lot of stronger, it won't be completely autonomous, but I would say semi-autonomous kind of features. So the way they look at an autonomous is L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. L5 is when it is a fully autonomous vehicle, no driver, nobody you require. But in between, the car can do its own parking. Sometimes it can detect people. It can change the lanes. So those are the things which, the features which will get introduced. That is not very far. In next 5 years, you will see most of the cars on the road, which are the new models now, with some or the other autonomous capability. The second thing is the electric vehicles. And we were having a chat about it some time back. What was the real important part of the car? It was engine. Right? It was engine. Now engine is not required. It's completely changed. There is a complete different alternate system which will happen. So I think the kind of disruption it is happening is very big, and that's why there are new car companies which are coming, because earlier there were old companies who used to think that new companies cannot come because they have this powertrain technologies for years and years. But that is not relevant. Now in this new technologies, anybody can compete, and that's why the companies like Tesla came up. That's why there are such 20 new companies which are coming, who were not automotive manufacturers but are coming into electric vehicles. And the change of the pace is so fast that in next few years, next 10 years, I don't think that I believe most of the cars will have electrification. And there are already some companies who have said that in next 3 years or 4 years, they will not do any conventional powertrain. They will only go to electrification. Now, coming back to what is relevant to you. The BMW in their new statement have said that it is a software company. It wants to be a software company. Bosch says that it wants to be a software company. So the content of the software in a car is so high that other parts are becoming relatively much easier, and that is a very, very big opportunity. But this software is not a normal software. You need to have understanding of mathematics. So why many software engineers currently are struggling is because their basic skills, basic technologies into mathematics are weak. So you need to understand the algorithms, because that is the artificial intelligence, that is what is required in autonomous, that is what is required in other parts. So the software skills are not going to be pure programming skills, but more and more algorithmic skills are required into software. The other part is the innovation part. I saw some certain initiatives which you have, and very exciting. I saw some projects as well. But it is very, very important that the innovation is the backbone of going forward. Because earlier, lot of companies came to India because they wanted to reduce the cost. But now they are coming because they want innovation. And I think that is a very, very important part. We ourselves run something like Sparkle, which is in the colleges. I don't know, some of you might have participated. There are many other competitions. But I think the innovation is a very, very important part. And that innovation can come only if you are focused. Innovation can come only if you are passionate about something. Then you can identify a problem, then only the innovation can come. I would say that when you are entering into this is an exciting part of your life. I'm sure if you are ambitious, I think you should have some of those people who are those people, poster boys, right, as they call, whether it is Satya Nadella or it is Sundar Pichai. So you can see them that even though they were working in an organization, they went to the top notch of the organizations, of the global organizations. At the same time, there are so many startups which are coming in every part of life. And I think that is where the opportunity is for people like you. And I do believe that if you dream big, you will find your way, whether it is with the established company or the startup. Here, I want to make an important statement. You had to give to your organization. I think you are very, very lucky. Let me tell you, you are very lucky. I went to a Gram Panchayat school, normal school, Gram Panchayat school, and then got my way out by learning. You have such a good college where there is a good infrastructure here in place. What you can give to this organization later, why Stanford become big, is because Facebook came out of Stanford. Like Mark Zuckerberg was from Stanford. There are many, many companies who build, because they built a brand for the institution, that's why they become the big. I would say that today's day is very important to you, but I hope in next 10, 20 years, you do something which will make your organization really improve the brand of this organization. And that's how this organization will become great, last longer, become that iconic organization. And that's what you can give back to your institution. And I have to tell you that these are the most exciting time you had last few years. Whenever you look at life, this is the best time you had in life. You get the best of the friends. But you are getting into an exciting time. And I just want to say that go back to your roots always. Be passionate, dream big, keep on learning, be humble, and give back to your institution. And you will have a very exciting journey ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.